Namaste friends, welcome back to the Sarthi Technology. In the last video, we have created this schema for the validation of the request. And now in this video, we are going to create CRUD operation. And for creating the CRUD operation, we need to do two things. One is creating one function that will perform operation to insert or just get the values from the database, and one endpoint that will call that function for the request and response. So first we need to create CRUD. Okay, so in this database folder, just right click and create one file, that is crud.py. And in this file we will just create functions that will be responsible for the database operation. So first thing, we need to import session. So from SQLAlchemy.orm, import session. Now the next thing, we need to import these models, and for that, from dot import models. The next thing, we need to import schemas. So from schemas dot items, import item create and item update. So item create, item update. Okay, so all import is done. Now first we need to just create one CRUD operation for the inserting the value in the database, and for that we will just define one function. So def create item, and this will just ask session and the item. So db session item create. Okay, so here db underscore item equal to, we will just models dot item, and here dict. Okay, this is showing that the dict is deprecated, so we need to use model underscore dump. So we need to use model dump. So instead of this dict, model underscore dump. So what we are doing here, we are just using this schema for the validation, and after validation we will just get the values, and that value we are just unpacking in the form of dictionary. Okay, so for the unpacking we are using these two star. Okay, so this is just for the format conversion. So using these two star, we will get the value in the dictionary format. Now the next thing, we have validated data in this db item, and now we need to just add. So db, that is our database session dot add, and here db underscore item. Now db dot commit. So after the commit we will just refresh, and for the refresh we will just db dot refresh, and here db underscore item, and now return db underscore item. Okay, so this is done. Now again let me explain what we are doing here. So we have created one function create item, and this function will be responsible for inserting data in the table. And here we have one session, that is DB, and one item. This item holds the values that user will provide in the API, and that we need to put in the table. Now in the first line we have this item dot model dump. So what we are doing here, we have just validated our data against this schema. Okay, so in the schema here you can see we have item create, and this item create is inheriting this item base. So against this, that means the name should be string, description should be string, price should be int, and this description may be null, but name and price is mandatory. So this we are just validating here, and after the validation, okay, after the validation we will get values in this format. Okay, and that format we need to convert into dictionary format, and that's why we are just putting these two star. Now we will get dictionary format, and that format we are putting in this item. Okay, so in the models dot item, so we are just mapping those values here, and that value we are saving in this variable db underscore item. So at this moment we have one validated data. Now that we are adding in this session using db.add, and after adding we are just committing using commit, and after the commit db.refresh. So this refresh will update our object, and this refresh will refresh and get the value from the database. So basically before inserting in the table we didn't had the primary key, that is id, but after saving and refreshing we will have primary key also. Okay, that is id. So after refresh we will have id, and that whole object we are just returning. So in that case user will get the saved item with id. So this is the create item function. Now let's create one endpoint in the main for the inserting. So in the main.py for the create item we will create one endpoint using post method. So here app dot post, and here items response model. So response model is item. So let's see we have imported item or not. So actually I don't see here. So we need to just import, and that we are going to import here from schemas dot items import item. And you can also just import item create and item update that we will use in next. So here item create item update. Okay, so we have this item. So response model is item, and now we can also put the status code. So status code is 201. So 201 just used for the inserting the data. So now define the function def create item and item, and that is item create db. Here we need to import the session also. So here SQLAlchemy.orm import session, and session we will get using dependency injection. So for that, depends, and here get underscore db. Okay, now here create one db item equal to, so we are just going to use this function. Okay, and for that first we need to just import the crud dot create item and now return. Okay, so again let me explain what we are doing here. So first we have created one post method, that is items, and here response model is item and status code is 201. Now using this crud we are just calling this function create item, and here we will provide db and the item. Okay, so this item we will get from the user input, and the last we will just return. Okay, so now let's check it is working or not. So first thing, show the tables. So we have this items table and select all from items, and here we don't have anything in this table. Now the second thing, let's see our server is running or not. So now here you can see we have full post endpoint create items, and expand this, try it out and put values. So for example, price I am putting 45, name is for example battery, and use for mobile charging. Okay, and 4500. Now execute, and you can see the response is 201. Response body is this, id is 1. Okay, so the operation is successful. Now let's check the database. So here again just execute this, and you can see id is 1, name battery, used for mobile charging, and price is 4500. Again you can just check the validation. So what if you are just ball 450 or play, but instead of 450 use 450.25 and execute, and you will see the error here. Okay, so input should be a valid integer. So who is validating this? That is schema. So I hope you got this. In the next video we will just learn how to get the values from the database. So this is enough for this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Till then, bye.